We are back. You are watching How Can You Say That? Segment 28, Part 2. And we are discussing the holiday season 2023, the month of December, because we've had so many holidays. Anyway, I look at my green fluffy shirt. I think this gives us away.
Gives us away? What does that mean? About Christmas?
Also, it must be Christmas she's talking about because she's
No, people think it's St. Patrick's Day. That's what people wear on St. Patrick's Day. Green.
This kind of thing. It's
they wear green.
Okay, all right. It's Christmas for me and
Hanukkah. Say it.
Hanukkah. Yeah, I don't have to know how to say it correctly. I can try, but I'll butcher it, I'm sure.
Say hummus.
Anyway,
Tahina.
We are back, and we did a previous segment about this topic where I was trying to share what Christmas means for me, because I was raised with the Christian religion, and so Christmas was our big celebration. And Jon is Jewish, and so he shared some about his holiday. But
it's not that I don't like certain aspects of Christmas. I think that it's very, also, like we said before, festive and nice and all those things. But again, I go back to the spiritual meaning behind it all. Let's ask you a question about Christmas. In your Christmas, the way you celebrated. When you were younger, did you go to church, like midnight mass? Did you do all those things?
All right, Jon, don't ask me questions. I'm telling the story of how the whole thing unfolded.
Could you tell it with glasses straight, or do they have to be crooked like you just had a car accident?
Okay.
Like the airbag just deployed in your face or something.
What's going on with my glasses? Can you straighten them?
They're fine now.
Okay.
Except you have one hair going right through your eye.
Okay.
There you
It's
go.
all right. Can't control everything. Or everything
Try
is
to.
not worth the battle.
Especially your podcast.
But anyway, one of the reasons I loved my childhood is because we were sort of insulated. I grew up on the government compound because my dad worked for the government. And apart from his government job, we had a farm. And my father hired workers to work the farm. My brothers and my sisters and I also worked the farm. I used to milk cows. I used to wash the pigs and the pens. And for me, when I share this with people, they're like, you did what? They think that I'm somehow...
Did you do that wearing your Cartier bracelet and your Versace
I kept those in my
jacket?
jewelry case until I was finished working. But anyway, I would never trade those days because they were so refreshingly pure. I remember in the summer months, my dad would have his workers harvest the corn and the different fruits, and at night, all of our friends would come over. We'd catch candle flies, put them in a jar, tell stories. My dad roasted corn. There are no drugs. None of the crazy crap that kids are having to deal with today. And because of that, there was a purity and a innocence that I had as a child that I wish young people could enjoy today. But all that being said, it all culminated to the most beautiful times at Christmas, because all the kids in the neighborhood and us would do different things to make other people happy. This was a big part of Christmas for us.
Right. Well, the pureness aspect of it was not necessarily because of the holiday season. The pureness aspect of it was because of the time of your childhood, much like mine, which was before smartphones, before the internet, before computers, where a part of having a good time was like getting together with friends on the block and going outside and actually socializing and getting sunlight, not sitting behind a computer or sitting behind a phone for hours and hours like a misfit by yourself sitting in a room on your couch and not actually interacting physically with anybody. So my childhood, much like yours, spent outdoors doing things with people, interacting without a lot of the distractions. I'm not talking about like the drugs and those things, because drugs were always around, but I'm talking about the electronic distractions, which monopolize so much time of our lives. In fact, if you look at the number of hours of screen time that kids have these days, it's like 6-7 hours a day of their life. When you X out the sleeping time, and then you put in the screen time, like what other time is there left to go to, other than to go to the bathroom and to eat and whatever? Like so much of people's time is spent doing things that we didn't have back when we were children. So there was an innocence to it just because society was very different at that time.
Well, it was different for us because there were never drugs. The only drugs we knew of was Tylenol and cold medicine. The word drugs, I was so naive that when I came to America and somebody said there was a pot farm in the back of the house that we were living in before we moved there, I was like, they grow pots in? And I was truly
Like Farberware, you thought?
I was truly perplexed. Like, really? I couldn't add.
How does a frying pan grow out of the ground? Gee, that's really.
But can I finish my story? Because I don't know if anyone is interested in hearing, but it's so special to me. And if you don't mind, I'd love to share it with you. So all of the things I said, we take the house apart, clean all the furniture, wash the walls, everything looked brand new. And then as it got close to Christmas, we would write Christmas cards and send them to people around the world, the family and the friends. And every night we came home from school, did homework, parents served dinner, and it was a big project in our house getting ready for Christmas. My mother cured her own ham one time. There's something we call, you guys don't eat pork, but there's this thing called garlic pork. It's so delicious. And you take it out on Christmas Day.
It's so forbidden.
And then they have pepper pot. You see, once again, John, you don't have respect for other people's beliefs.
The Bible says it's forbidden. It's not my opinion.
Anyway, so you see, this is what you do.
Well, that's, by the way, that's the one thing the Jews and the Muslims could agree on.
And
not eating pork.
Okay, good. We respect it. You know, I'm eating it and I'm still alive. So no disrespect to the people who don't eat it, but I enjoy it and I know God loves me. So I don't know where this whole thing's gone off the trail, but we also made something called pepper pot because I grew up in a part of Guyana where they had a lot of the native Indians, which are called Amerindians, and they're the people who somehow got to Guyana through Columbus, and then they
so like the indigenous population?
the indigenous population. And what they did is they grew things that they call cassava. Some people call it Yukon, and they grated it to make bread. And then the juice, they boiled it down and made a black sauce, which we call kasrip. And for Christmas, you make pepper pot. And these are so delicious and unique to our part of the world, but they were all a big deal for Christmas. So the actual day before Christmas, my dad would have people come and slaughter a cow and a pig, and we'd have people coming by our house all day buying beef and pork, and they're taking it to their homes, and my mom would cook some of the most delicious food. I mean, our house had so much food on Christmas Day.
That sounds so much more interesting than chilling gefilte fish and herring, but okay.
But anyway, as it got closer to, after everybody came and took their beef and pork home and their chickens, whatever, in our house, while my dad is in the yard with the workers dealing with that, my mom and us girls are in the house cooking all the food, and then suddenly we're putting up new drapes in the window. We take out the new.
Were they holiday drapes in particular?
My mom would make new drapes, but they weren't Christmas drapes, but they were Christmas drapes because they're going up in the windows Christmas time. And they stayed there, except when we took them down to wash them. And then the next Christmas, we put new ones up. That's how we did it. Only at Christmas.
So it's a constant turnover of drapes. White drapes is something else.
The new look for Jesus's birthday. And then we had our Christmas tree. We put it up. We decorated. While we're doing this, our brothers get dressed up like girls with their friends. They go down the street, carol singing.
You say your brothers get dressed up like girls?
They do it for fun. You know, they put on like just little costumes, and they'd go singing carols to different people. And then they would come home, and then at midnight, all my parents would put all the presents under the tree, and we'd get dressed. This is Christmas Eve night, the night before Christmas, and we go to church. We go to midnight mass, and we come back home from midnight mass, like maybe 1 a.m, we go to sleep. Christmas morning, you wake up, and there's every single dish under the sun that is a part of Christmas that my mom would have cooked. And we have this, the house looked like a new house. It was just, there's no adjective. I get very emotional. And then we come home from church, Christmas morning, we wake up, open presents. Then my mom brings out the food, and people would just stop by all day.
Okay, so
people would stop by.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
So really what I heard from this, and I'm not criticizing, I'm just an observation, going back to what I had said on part one, which was all of that is nice and all of that is wonderful and all of that is great. But the only one line that you said that actually was relevant to Christmas as a holiday, was celebrating Jesus's birthday. Again, I'm not a believer in that, but from your perspective.
Right.
So that's what the holiday actually for you is supposed to be about. Jesus's birth or resurrection or whatever that was. But nothing of what you described was anything to do with that other than the whitewashing of the holiday.
You don't clearly, and you know why you're saying this? Because you listen to judge. You don't listen with an open mind.
No, I heard everything you said. I'm saying it's all very nice. But it whitewashes over the holiday and the reason for what the holiday is about.
I told you many nights we went Christmas caroling. We went, this is our way of giving to people who were older and couldn't get out.
Okay, that's true.
My mom cooked, people came and ate. We played Christmas carols, we prayed, we followed all.
So then actually my observation was actually completely wrong. I apologize.
You know why, Jonathan? You always listen with an agenda. You listen to judge and criticize because in your mind, we weren't spending enough time doing what you think we should be doing. And this is an infuriating quality of yours that follows you around your life with everything. I see you a lot and I hear it and it irks me because you don't have the right to tell anyone how to live.
Tell us how you really feel.
That's it. I said you infuriate me and you can ruin my best moment if I let you.
Yet I'm here for podcast 28.2.
Because I think
Isn't that interesting?
Because people need to see the light and the dark.
Oh, so you're the light and I'm the dark. How about your fantasy on reality? Is that possible?
Well, you know what? You may call me fantasy, but if I am fantasy, then I'm giving a different meaning to fantasy.
Well, it ain't my fantasy, but I'm just saying it's fantasy.
Trust me, it ain't your fantasy because it could never be your fantasy. And we both know this.
Okay, enough with the personal attacks and insults against me.
What the Christmas holiday meant to me as a child. And now, I have to tell you, when I left Mabruma, where I grew up with my parents, to go to the city, to go to school.
In Guyana still, you don't know?
Yes, I could not go home for Christmas. I had to get home somehow. And back then, if I couldn't get on a commercial flight, my dad managed to get me on an army aircraft to go home because it was so important to me to get home to celebrate.
I want to talk to you about that, by the way. Speaking of the army in Guyana, lots of problems going on between Guyana and Venezuela. I
see that. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. We're talking about the holiday, John. The reason I changed the topic from cultural appropriation, this is a festive time. This is a time when we acknowledge.
I'm just saying I'm worried about Guyana.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
Yes, and so
I lose sleep over Guyana being taken over by Venezuela.
You're the biggest hypocrite that's ever sat beside me. But anyway,
what? I'm expressing my concern about your homeland and Nicholas, what's his last name? Madreas or whatever his name is, coming and taking over the country and stealing all the resources.
Him, John, but if I answer you, then we will deviate from tonight's topic, and I don't want to do that. You agreed to do a holiday special show with me, and I told you I was forced. Let's tell people what for me, what Christmas meant for me, and we'd like to hear as a child what your celebration meant to you.
I don't like to talk about my childhood. I don't like to talk about my childhood.
No.
Why are you my childhood?
Why to fight and be bitter and judge? You just can't help yourself.
All right, woman, I'll tell you about my childhood. Yes. Okay?
Come on, loosen
Take the gloves off.
Yep. Tell me.
You have 2 hours?
John told me one time that they told him to shake the family tree and a lot of nuts fell out. So maybe this
It didn't happen.
I think.
Well,
that's why he's avoiding discussing.
Can you stop intruding on my time now?
No, okay.
I'll give you 2 minutes on my holiday experience. Now, in Judaism, we have a lot of holidays. A lot of them. Some good, some bad. A lot of them have all types of restrictions on things you can do, things you can't do. Non-Jews don't have that. You have your holidays, they're mostly okay. Basically, your day is do whatever you want. Essentially, you have no restrictions on what you could eat, what you could do, what you can't do. We have a lot of those, especially like Sabbath restrictions that apply to certain holidays. I'll just talk right now about Hanukkah. Hanukkah is not one of those holidays that has any of the restrictions, except for the one day that falls out on the Sabbath. So Hanukkah for us is commemorating, like all of our holidays, is commemorating what has happened historically. And we do that through various methods, whether it's different books that we read or different prayers that we say or different rituals that we perform. They're all in commemoration of the holiday and tying everything back to historically what actually occurred. But some of the nicer aspects of Hanukkah have manifest into things that we do now. Like, for example, I mentioned before, because of the miracle that happened with the oil, we will eat foods that involve frying and oil, like donuts and things like that, which makes the holiday kind of feel much more joyous. We light a menorah, we light candles to, again, going back to the miracle that happened on Hanukkah. Even the dreidel, that little thing we spin, I saw you spinning one the other day, someone gave to you. There's 4 Hebrew letters on there. Each one signifies something that historically happened. So it's turned into a game in order to teach the children about the holiday. So you spin the dreidel, well, why is there this letter? Why is this letter? What does this mean? What does that mean? And it gets the children to ask questions so we can in turn explain to them the historical events of what occurred.
Oh, that's the purpose of that?
So that's one of the purposes of the dreidel. Yeah. A lot of what Judaism involves is having the children get involved by wanting to know and ask questions through a fun mechanism. Like we do that on Passover also. There's a lot of rituals with that also. But my memories of Hanukkah, like most Jewish holidays from when I was a kid, have always been really good. I mean, I grew up in a religious household, which a lot of times people, when they get older, are resentful of that. I'm actually not. I'm very thankful for that because it taught me a lot about our traditions, and the rituals that we perform. And I then carried that over into the family that I have when I got married. And I think that religion provides a lot of structure. Again, that doesn't mean I don't deviate off that. I don't make mistakes. I don't become a horrible person at times.
No,
Like that.
not you. You're always 100% perfect.
Okay, maybe in your eyes, but I don't mean to shatter that myth, but that's actually not true. I do so many things that are wrong. But again, it does provide a structure, and that provides a mechanism from literally from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to sleep of things that you should be doing, should not be doing, and things like that. But anyway, in regard to Hanukkah, that is one of the fun ones and one of the ones as a kid that you look forward to. Like Christmas, we give gifts on Hanukkah, and each night you give the kids another gift. So really, kids are either getting 8 gifts, or if you want to just give them one big one, I guess you could do that too. But it keeps, even the purpose of the gifts keeps them interested, keeps them excited, keeps them wanting to come back for more. Because in order to continue the religion, you have to have the next generation want to be interested in perpetuating the religion and practicing the religion. Without that, the religion disappears. So again, it's a great time of year. And when you put it in context of winter and snow, it also gives it a very different feel from a lot of the other holidays that you celebrate during the year. But I always come back to the same thing, the actual meaning behind it and why we do it. And it's not just to have fun. It's to commemorate historical events that occurred in Jewish history.
So, John and I produce these different segments, and we never remember to ask you to please leave your comments below. Please share with us if you've seen this segment, what the holiday means for you. If you're a Christian, tell us about your Christmas. If you're Jewish, tell us about your celebration, because I think it's a great time to start a conversation and to hear from other people what this time of the year means for them. I am also aware that it's a time when a lot of people lose loved ones. I had a stepfather and a father, and they both died in the month of December. I lost a sister at this time of the year as well. And so I do realize that it's a very painful time for a lot of people also.
Well, it's not painful because the people were lost. It's painful because they're not there to celebrate with you the holiday together, because people are lost every month. But you think about it more on the holiday because these are people that you used to spend holidays with and have memories of, then they're not here anymore.
I have a different perspective. My perspective on that is Yes, we lose people all year round, but I think the loss is felt a lot more when it's this time of the year because it's usually a happy time for people, regardless of which, what your philosophy is. But then suddenly this joyous time when it comes around for people who've lost loved ones this time of the year, instead of feeling joy, it's like a bittersweet.
It's exactly what I just described.
Yeah, but you're saying that it's because they're not there to celebrate, and
it's bittersweet because they're not there to celebrate.
That's not what I'm saying. But then, John, you like.
What are you saying exactly?
What I'm saying is, it's not that they can't celebrate. What I'm saying is,
they're not there to celebrate with you.
When you reflect on Christmas, for me, it's like this happy, wonderful time. But now, it's not, when I think of Christmas, I think of the people I love dearly who died then. Not because they're not there to celebrate, but it's a memory of something very sad.
You know what I think of when I think of Christmas? Should I tell you? I think of time and a half salary, because I remember when I was a kid and nobody wanted to work on Christmas because they were all not Jewish. All the Jews came in to pick up the slack, and we got paid time and a half. One of the nice memories I have of Christmas.
That's great.
Time and a half.
We acknowledge your memory because we're not here to judge you, Joe.
Oh, my sister-in-law, by the way, is a customs and border agent at Kennedy Airport. She works on Christmas Day because it doesn't mean anything to her. She's Jewish. Also, big jump in salary. So we're happy to fill the void because we get paid handsomely to do that.
Good. And that's nice because we are grateful to people like you and her, because the fact that you can cover allows a Christian person to.
There you go. I am facilitating the celebration of Christians.
That's what I want to see more of in the world.
Perfect.
You can go. I got it. I'll cover for you. You got it.
And vice versa.
I got it. I'll cover for you. Don't you think this?
Jews get a much better deal. We have so many more holidays than you. You totally get screwed in that deal.
What I was trying to say before he interjected with that is that the world would be such a better place if we could just live like that. Like, you be you, I be me, let's work together.
No, everyone must be me. No.
Even if
never.
You are batshit, oops. You see? I have to edit that out.
Leave it in.
No.
Stop being a baby. Leave it in.
Think you are nuts, or if what you're saying is way out there, you have no idea, because I am such an open, free spirit with I try my best to hold no judgments. The things that people say to me, and I have to sit there sometimes and go, okay, because I don't want to give that person the feeling that what you're saying to me is so foreign to me that.
Oh, you mean like I do?
But if that's how you feel, and because it's not my place to tell you what to believe and what to do,
like
I respect it. And I think the problem with our world is that a lot of us, and I used to be one of those people, I'm working very hard on it, because we're taught to judge. We are raised to believe that anything that lives outside of the box of what we are told, that we should judge the hell out of it because they're crazy.
I've mastered that.
And I am not going to live like that another day of my life.
I
am going to let people be who they are.
I'm not.
And I think if more of us can do that, we're going to live a happier.
I can't.
Life in a better world.
I can't do any of that.
We know this.
I'll continue to judge and criticize.
Jeez, you like to sit there and mention the obvious more than we can handle it. Do you have anything else to say?
I got a lot more to say, but I have a feeling you're out of time.
Tell us something we haven't said.
How much time do we have left?
We have 4 minutes.
Oh, great. I'll take all of that. Can I have all of the 4 minutes?
Sure. You love to hear yourself. Go for it.
No, that's okay. I'll share it with you. 2 minutes apiece. I go first.
Go ahead.
No, I think a lot of what you're saying is very, very sweet and very nice, and want to spread joy and happiness and not judge. That's very nice. A lot of that is contrary to human nature, but like you said, you're working on being able to achieve that vision of what you outlined, and I think that's very admirable. Actually, I will be the first one to say that I am not capable of doing that, and my nature. What are you making faces at? What? What are you about to say? What? Go ahead. Go. What?
Is your hobby just sitting there and blurting out the obvious?
That's my profession,
Oh,
not my hobby.
okay, your profession.
Yes.
We got it. She can help herself.
No, like I said in the prior podcast, and I'll say it again now, I do respect everybody's right to do and celebrate holidays and their religions and all that however they want. My only issue is don't impose it on me.
Okay.
And don't intrude on my right to do the same thing that I'm giving you the right to do.
Okay, and this is what I would like to say as we wrap up, is I'm wishing everyone, regardless of whatever you believe on how you plan to celebrate this time, a happy and safe holiday, and hopefully no one is alone. Everyone is with someone sharing the moment, however you choose to. And contrary to what he says, I believe we need to see less wars. What's the purpose of a life? Just to go to a battlefield and fight a stupid battle? When have we ever seen a battle fix anything? Since I was born, people are fighting. And I'm going to die because I'm old. And they'll still be fighting. And I'm sure for the rest of the existence of humanity, if we don't change the way we think, we're going to be fighting forever. And a lot of people who like to fight, until they've lost somebody very close to them, don't quite get how foolish and useless a lot of these wars are.
They're not useless. To the victor goes the spoils, as the expression goes. They are not useless battles. Some of them are useless, some of them are stupid, and some of them are very worthy causes. That's all I'll say on that. I'm not going to open all can of worms with you.
So grateful you're only my podcast partner, because any more than that, you change my sweetness, and I will.
Any more than that, they'd be a murder.
I will trade the wings and the halo for the broomstick. Because Jonathan is capable of doing that. He just infuriates me so much.
You know, it goes both ways.
But I respect him, that he is who he is. And like I said, I love people the way they are. So I'm very grateful to him that he sat beside me and done 28 segments of his views versus my views. But the world is made up of all types. And here is a good example. But we love each other.
But yeah, I was just gonna say, but yet we still get along beautifully in our personal lives. As much as we don't see anything eye to eye, have virtually nothing in common. I mean, there's really nothing that you and I can lock on and say, well, this is one thing we can agree on. I mean, that happens like once every month or something like that. But yet, we still respect each other, and we're still able to communicate like this and share our views without killing each other.
I've been trying to figure out how to get Drano in coffee.
Me too. Good night. Can I go celebrate my holiday now?
Thank you so much.
Happy Hanukkah.
Merry Christmas. And we wish you all the best, safe, and wonderful holiday season.
Safe, healthy, and happy. And don't drink and drive.
And we will be back in the new year with the next topic, which John wants to be cultural appropriation. But between now and then, you never know what's going to happen. And you're watching How Can You Say That? The show where we are raw and authentic. And we thank you. Leave us your comments, like and subscribe, and enjoy your holiday. Bye.
Bye.